I never thought a simple text message could unravel so much. My wife, Emily, had always been playful, quick with her words, sometimes even careless with them. But this time, she went too far. It began one quiet evening with a text she sent, joking about my retirement savings. At first, it looked innocent enough. Sarcastic humor, something she'd usually say to tease me. But the tone, the timing, the underlying mockery, it hit harder than I expected. I stared at my phone for a long time, the laughing emoji from her message blinking back at me. Something in my chest tightened. Over the years, Emily and I had built our life together with careful effort. Long nights working, saving, planning for the day we could finally relax, travel, and enjoy what we'd earned. And here she was, turning that dream into a punchline. At first, I couldn't believe it. Why would she make fun of something so serious? The next few days carried an uneasy silence. Emily didn't seem to notice the change in my demeanor. She laughed, chatted with friends, went about life as usual, but I couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than a bad joke. It felt like a crack had opened in something we'd spent years building. I started watching more closely, the way she smiled when I mentioned money, the way she joked about our future in front of others, and the comments that seemed to carry a sharper edge than before. Then one afternoon, everything began to make sense. Emily got a call from a co-worker, Brian. He'd always been friendly, nothing out of line, until that conversation. I overheard bits of it from the next room. Emily laughed, teasing about how I spent my life, saving for a future I'd never enjoy. And Brian, he didn't discourage it. He played along, his tone subtly encouraging her, feeding the banter. That was when I realized her teasing had become something bigger, a habit she would start to share with others. Over the next few weeks, I stayed quiet. I didn't want to confront her too early or accuse her without knowing the full picture. Instead, I observed, listening, waiting, noting how often she turned serious topics like our finances into jokes. Then it clicked. That harmless text wasn't harmless at all. It was a symptom of something deeper. When someone starts mocking what matters most to you, your work, your effort, your values, it's a red flag. It signals a growing disconnect, one that can quietly destroy the foundation of respect. And I knew then that handling this required patience, not confrontation. As time passed, her jokes about our retirement fund became more frequent. Every mention of saving or planning for the future turned into an opportunity for sarcasm. What she didn't realize was that I was watching carefully, recording her words mentally, tracking the patterns, and reflecting on the meaning behind them. This wasn't about money. It was about respect, awareness, and the values we built our marriage on. One evening, I decided to test her. I casually mentioned an upcoming meeting with our financial advisor, hinting that I might adjust our investment strategy. Without missing a beat, Emily laughed and said, "Don't worry. You'll probably blow it all by then anyway." Her tone was light, but the sting beneath it was clear. That's when I knew her jokes weren't innocent anymore. They reflected something deeper, a lack of appreciation for what we had built together. So I decided to let the truth unfold naturally. No argument, no outburst, just time and facts. A month later, I arranged a private meeting with our financial advisor. Just the two of us at first. I wanted to make sure the conversation would be grounded in hard numbers, our savings, projections, and the risks of any careless choices. When Emily joined, thinking it was just a routine update, I could feel the shift in the air. As the advisor spoke, the numbers told their own story, how much we had, how fragile our future could become if handled recklessly. I watched as Emily's expression changed, amusement fading into surprise, and then into realization. Her laughter met reality head-on. For the first time, she saw how serious this truly was. That day marked a quiet turning point. Emily sat still for a long moment, absorbing everything. She understood then that her teasing had carried weight, and that her words had consequences she'd never considered. I didn't lecture her. I didn't need to. The truth spoke louder than anything I could have said. There's power in silence, in letting reality do the teaching. By the end of that meeting, I saw a new look in her eyes, respect mixed with a hint of regret. The careless humor that once surrounded our future was gone. not because I demanded it, but because understanding had replaced it. That was when I realized accountability doesn't always arrive with noise or anger. Sometimes it comes quietly and leaves a mark that no apology can erase. After that day, things shifted between us. The joke stopped. The teasing about our finances disappeared. Emily became more mindful, more involved. It wasn't out of guilt, it was awareness. That month of quiet observation and patience had done more than any argument could have. In the weeks that followed, I noticed subtle changes. She asked more questions during our planning sessions, genuinely cared about the numbers, and spoke about our future with sincerity instead of sarcasm. The woman who once mocked our hard work now valued it deeply. What began as a careless joke had turned into a powerful lesson in respect and responsibility. Emily learned that certain things, like effort, planning, and security, aren't to be mocked. They're the foundation of trust, and once shaken, they demand rebuilding through understanding, not excuses. That experience taught me something, too. Humor can bond people, but when it undermines what someone values, it becomes disrespect disguised as wit. The best response isn't anger, it's patience. Letting truth reveal itself often carries more impact than confrontation ever could. Emily's realization didn't come from me. It came from facing the truth she'd dismissed for too long. I remember one evening afterward, sitting with her on the porch, the air calm, the silence comfortable. She leaned on my shoulder and said quietly, "I didn't realize, but I do now." That simple, sincere admission meant more than any apology. It showed growth, understanding, and a renewed respect between us. By the end of it all, I understood that accountability doesn't have to be forced. Sometimes, it's about creating a space where truth becomes impossible to ignore. Emily's playful teasing had unintentionally become the catalyst for growth, for both of us. That month, filled with quiet tension, reflection, and clarity, became one of the most defining periods of our marriage. It reminded me that trust and respect aren't permanent. They're choices, renewed daily. And even the smallest joke can carry a lesson that changes everything. Emily's laughter had transformed into understanding. And with that, our future, once at risk of carelessness, was restored, not through conflict, but through truth,